So when we think of preventative health, generally it's a pretty big umbrella. It encompasses just all the things that you would do to ensure that you can maintain your current state of health or improve it. So basic daily things that you should be doing, like eating healthily, cutting out junk food, exercising. If you smoke, maybe cutting out smoking, reducing your drinking. And if you have a chronic illness of some sort and you have to take medications daily, then preventative health would include taking medications and treatments to prevent your disease from getting worse. So yeah, question of the day is, what are the psychological and behavioral barriers to people doing preventative health behaviors? So one of the thoughts, and I'm curious about Erick and Leigh's additions to this, one of the thoughts I had on this particular topic is there's a certain psychological journey that people go through. And I think even before people think to themselves, I'm gonna exercise every day, or I'm gonna eat more healthily, or I need to quit smoking, people need to start at the step of awareness. So basically, you have to realize that you need to make improvement, or that there is a problem that you need to solve. So from my perspective, that's really the starting point. And if you can get over the hump of that, and you realize that you really should be doing something to improve your health, then there's the question of volition. So do you want it? Do you think that that you need it? And if you need it, do you want it? And then there comes, the evaluation of should I do it? And if I do it, what should I do? So, and then making a decision about what needs to be done. And I think that's a lot of the psychological barriers is, kicks in at this step in time, from our need to have instant gratification. So I would much rather just eat the chocolate bar now and deal with the consequences later. To I would much rather just sit on the couch and watch Netflix than to, exert myself running for half an hour outside in the heat. And not to mention that I feel like my future self is completely hypothetical. I care more about my present self than I do about my future self. And I think that, if you do develop the intention, or you make a plan to do preventative health behaviors, you could hit a problem with the say-do gap. So, just because I say I want to exercise doesn't mean that, and I make a plan and I, say, I plan to exercise once every week. There may be a problem with me actually exercising once a week. And I keep going back to exercising because that's actually a problem I have. I keep saying that I should do it, but I don't.
That's the one I keep thinking of too. You went through the whole journey from awareness through evaluation and decision and action. And I was thinking about the times I've had difficulties, and they all center around evaluation. And you kind of tagged it sort of, I think of it almost like an insurance transaction, right? I have to pay something now, whether it be the pain of exercising, the cost of remembering to take my pills or to eat healthy, the giving up something. That cost is like present and very concrete and very painful in the moment. And it's to stave off something that I might be able to get by without that preventive. I think, we often think, I'll be fine, I don't need it. It's not salient in the future. So to me, I see it as an evaluation issue where the salience of what I have to give up in the future is just highly outweighing what I might get what I give up in the present is highly outweighing what I might get in the future.
Yeah, another one I was thinking of is sort of right before the evaluation phase, after the awareness phase, where you're kind of thinking about what to do. So maybe you have the motivation to change your life and you want to engage in a new behavior, but you're uncertain of how to move forward. So that uncertainty about how you're going to improve, what the path forward looks like, maybe you're not sure of the exact steps that you need to take or how you can measure your improvement. And also whether if you do something to make a change, for example, like with exercising, you're not sure if it will actually result in a meaningful change or a significant change. So it's not that tangible. Yeah, exactly.
Lots of options. You don't know which one is going to give you the outcome you want.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. I feel like it's I mean, with the exercise example, and I keep going back to the exercise example, I feel, because that's definitely a challenge that I have. So, I mean, like, even despite the fact that I'm a behavioral scientist and I should be able to solve my own barriers and map them all out, it nevertheless plagues my life. Yeah, it's interesting because, being able to like track your own progress is tricky, right? With exercise, because it's like I can exercise for 3 times this week, but I may not immediately get that gratification out of it at the end of this week. Like, my weight on the scale probably won't change. Um, and if anything, getting on to exercising, the only consequence that comes out of it is that my muscles are really sore. I'm feeling kind of miserable the day after because I really haven't exercised at all in my life and it's my first time. So feeling extra sore, my body needs to recover, feeling physically miserable, and then the number on the scale doesn't inherently change all that much, not right away anyway. So then it's like this competing it competes with my need for instant gratification. There's a lot more other things that I could gratify from and see progress on
Putting it
than
away, it sounds like you need a lot of faith, right? You need to have faith that what you're doing actually is going to make a difference because there's no actual reinforcement you're getting.
Yeah, and I think part of that is because the reward is so slow. And you kind of mentioned this, Eric, that it's delayed, but it's like you can't see the results until you stick it out for a very long time. So it's almost like you have to form a habit before it becomes rewarding instantly or rewarding every time. So I almost think about it like habit formation, because then if you form the habit, then you'll actually feel that it's more rewarding instantly. But there's this like slow element where everything is like happening so slowly. Like you mentioned, like your weight on the scale doesn't change, but you could also, for example, like taking a medication or a pill, like you're not going to actually see the outcome of that. You're going to see it as like, oh, my health is better overall and I feel good, but that might not happen right away. So there's this like element of not getting that sense of reward soon enough, I think.
Yeah.
Different ways to sustain a behavior. Either it's reinforcing or it's just a habit that you don't even think about, or other things that could sustain a behavior.
Yeah. Is there anything else that's on your list that we didn't cover that came to mind for you guys on this topic?
I think. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Eric.
I was just going to mention optimism bias. I think it has been mentioned in passing, but this idea that I don't need it, I'll be fine, nothing's going to happen to me in my health later on.
Yeah. Yeah, it all ties in together, I feel, to this greater problem. And it's like, even if you can adopt and get started on preventative health behaviors, I think what we touched upon is the fact that following through and maintaining that behavior can be incredibly hard. The fact that you have to really work hard to create the habit, and there's a level of grit or perseverance that you need to go through.
I was just going to mention, because you said like that your muscles are sore. So I was going to mention loss aversion, because I think there's sort of this, or sort of an aversion of a negative experience too, because not everyone likes to floss, or not everyone likes to take a pill, or not everyone likes to feel sore. So there's like this element of avoiding something negative too, which I think is a big part of it.
Even the time it takes, even to do something as simple as like flossing or making a sandwich instead of grabbing a granola bar or something. It's like just there's, with how busy we are and how usually overwhelmed we always are, there's so much to lose. And the gain is like, meh.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the challenge. I think, most of us know that doing healthy behaviors is a good thing. And we generally know, maybe not the specifics, but that, exercise is good, eating healthy is good. We've been told all our lives that smoking is bad, you shouldn't drink too much. If you have meds, you should take it, et cetera, et cetera. But, information is one thing. And, basically what we find is that people don't always act in accordance with information or education that they get, and all these other barriers kind of get in the way of us doing what's really in our best interest. So yeah, I mean, I should really take my own advice, I suppose, about exercising. We should wrap this up. Thank you, Erick and Leigh, for sharing your thoughts on what are the barriers to the adoption of preventative health.
No problem. Thank you. Really fascinating topic.
Yeah, great to talk about it.